It's time for Debrief, your quick wrap-up of TRT World's top stories from the week.
Well, before we get below the red, I think it's time for us to move on to the next match. Yeah, the co-host, USA, will be taking on Paraguay. Of course, Mauricio Pochettino, the managers, come out and said they can win this game.
Iran attacks deep inside Israel that it says were in response to Israeli strikes on the southern suburbs of Beirut.
Iran and the United States have been involved in the biggest exchange of fire since the ceasefire was agreed just over 2 months ago, casting doubt over the current round of peace talks and Donald Trump's claims a deal was just days away. Iran launched a barrage of ballistic missiles and drones at several US bases in the Gulf. Tehran targeted the US 5th Fleet in Bahrain, the Al Azraq Air Base in Jordan and the Ali Al Salam base in Kuwait. Those strikes came after US forces attacked up to 20 military targets at several locations in southern Iran. Washington's described those as self-defense strikes following the downing of a US Apache helicopter on Monday.
An IRGC statement says that 21 targets in U.S. naval and aerial bases in the region were hit using advanced Emad and Khaybar Shikan missiles. About that Al Azraq base in Jordan, the IRGC says that shelters for F-35 fighter jets as well as a command and control center used by U.S. Army were targeted and destroyed.
The claims and counterclaims from Tehran and from Washington at the start of a second night of conflict were head-spinning. Not long after having ordered a fresh round of strikes on Iran late Wednesday, President Donald Trump told Fox News that he spoke directly with the Iranians, who asked him to call the strikes off. And not long after, U.S. CENTCOM said the strikes on Iran's military infrastructure had ended.
US President Donald Trump in the past hour has claimed that an agreement with Iran has been reached.
And we're going to be subject to finalization of documents. We should get done over the next few days.
The president has been claiming that despite Iran saying that the strait is closed, that the US has been able to move tankers through the straits. But with the deal now, I guess it will be a more official opening.
The United States and Iran have signaled a peace deal is close, with mediator Pakistan confirming the agreement has been finalized.
We have not come to the final agreement yet. This is actually an initial one. This is the first step or phase one.
I think that the Trump administration is going to have to use a fairly significant amount of political capital with the Netanyahu government in Israel to abide by the initial demand.
Now, Bangladesh has accused Indian border forces of attempting to push people across the border and is urging New Delhi to follow existing procedures for handling undocumented migrants. Bangladeshi officials say border guards have thwarted at least 18 alleged attempts since the 4th of June and have been instructed to remain vigilant along border areas. India, on the other hand, claims a bilateral mechanism is already in place.
Actually, the situation deteriorated after the last month West Bengal election. So seemingly that election had a very intense impact on pushing attempts across the border.
Tension is mounting between Bangladesh and India over enforced push-ins across the border from India. In the last couple of days, dozens of push-in attempts have been foiled by both border guard Bangladesh and locals. Bangladeshi nationals say that they want a peaceful solution and accuse the Indian border security forces of push-in attempts around the clock.
We are sleepless. Nights after nights, we are guarding our territories. We are fed up with the persecution of Muslims.
To the border of India and Bangladesh now, where hundreds of people are reportedly being removed from India into Bangladesh against their will. The practice, known as push-ins, happens when so-called unwelcomed guests are forcibly sent across the border, usually at night.
Border Guard Bangladesh BGB and people of the border area on the Bangladeshi side say India frequently attempts what's known as forced push-in through those gates, especially at night. A push-in is when a country forcibly escorts a group of people, more often than not undocumented migrants, refugees or minorities.
They put off the lights switch off the lights and then push the people through the pocket gates and try to cross them the zero line. But we are alert.
Media reports and BGB data points to nearly 2,500 people being forcibly pushed into Bangladesh from India between May 2025 to January 2026. BGB says many have been foiled in the past weeks.
It's a big problem for us. We have to guard the borders around the clock.
Bangladeshi nationals living across the borders with India want an immediate end to the enforced push-in. They say that this is not the proper way to resolve any dispute.
Here's the news in brief, where we bring you even more top stories. Gaza has once again been cut off from the outside world, with Israel closing the enclave's only two entry points, Karam Shalom crossing, the main cargo entry point, and the Rafah crossing, Gaza's only international border with Egypt. Tel Aviv's actions appear to be part of a campaign of collective punishment towards Gazans after the latest rounds of missile attacks from Iran. Already, thousands of children are being treated for malnutrition in Gaza's hospitals. In April, the UN blamed the lack of a diverse diet for the worsening crisis. Now, with the borders closed, Gaza's 2.5 million people risk running out of what little's left of the aid Israel allowed in. Over in Africa, U.S. plans for building an American-only Ebola quarantine facility in Kenya have sparked public protests. One person was shot in the head by the police on Tuesday. The field hospital will only host U.S. citizens arriving from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Protesters say they don't understand why the government is ignoring their concerns and going ahead with the plan even after the Kenyan High Court blocked the order.
For many, fears of what infected patients could bring is making this type of collaboration unacceptable.
My message is this: Laikipia is not a dumping site, and our voices must be heard.
And Kenyans aren't the only ones angry at the U.S. Albanian protesters have filled the streets for more than a week to save their flamingos from the Trumps. Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner's investment firm Affinity Partners, is involved in a $1 billion project to build a luxury resort in an environmentally sensitive area. The site is home to thousands of flamingos, seals, and sea turtle nesting grounds. Conservation groups say there is a real risk flamingos will disappear if the project goes ahead.
This is the apotheosis of what has been happening in Albania for the last 35 years. So today, enough is enough.
Already facing concerns over corruption, Prime Minister Edi Rama is now facing the wrath of Albanians who accuse him of backing the project while dismissing concerns about ties to the Trump family. And this is the aftermath of a 7.8 magnitude earthquake that rocked the coast of Mindanao in the southern Philippines. Dozens have been killed. Rescue teams are also investigating reports that an entire village may have been buried under the debris. The earthquake, which occurred early Monday morning, triggered at least 10 landslides. The government has distributed emergency assistance worth roughly $80,000, but residents say the help has not reached them yet.
Even a small amount of aid hasn't arrived. Not even a little. They said the roads here are badly damaged. So maybe that's why they can't reach us, because of the condition of the roads.
In Ireland, shocking scenes coming out of Belfast, where anti-immigration protesters literally set the city on fire. Masked men burned cars and homes belonging to immigrants. This began after a Sudanese citizen was arrested and later charged with the attempted murder of a 40-year-old man in the city's north. Hadi Al-Adid was granted permanent residence in the UK nearly 3 years ago. The victim's family and authorities have appealed for calm.
This violent behaviour by a thuggish minority will not be tolerated. Last night we saw significant disorder in Newton Abbey and Portadown. It was clear from the outset that those who attended were not intent on peaceful protest, rather they were intent on violence.
And here's a taste of our features from the World Cup.
At the Kampala Dance Studio, the countdown to a historic performance is underway. While preparing to share the World Cup halftime stage with pop icon Shakira, the group is practicing its signature high-energy moves.
We never imagined that we would wake up one time and perform with one of the biggest global artists like Shakira.
The dancers, many of them orphans and vulnerable children, have built a global following through their passion for dance, following a journey that first began with a viral video over a decade ago. They are bigger than ever, featuring prominently in Shakira's official World Cup anthem, Die, Die.
I am so excited to share the stage with one of the most popular and respected artists all over the world.
But beyond their choreography, the Ghetto Kids say they also want to showcase a different image of Africa. The group is proving how talent and hard work can transform lives and inspire far beyond Uganda's borders.
The wait is finally over. After years of anticipation, football's most glamorous stage is set. The 2026 FIFA World Cup is the biggest edition in the tournament's history.
But while the teams here are concentrating on preparations for the action ahead, much of the conversation surrounding this World Cup has been about anything but the beautiful game.
Across Mexico City, teachers and local residents have staged demonstrations, criticizing authorities for prioritizing the World Cup while ignoring local concerns. And many of the tournament's biggest controversies have been in the United States. There have been reports of players and officials facing visa issues, delayed entry approvals, and enhanced border screenings. Among them is Somali referee Omar Artan, who says he was denied entry to the United States despite having the necessary travel documents and FIFA accreditation. Iran's national team has also faced complications. The squad experienced lengthy visa delays and has been training in Mexico despite playing all of their group stage matches in the United States.
There are issues, as it's normal for an event of this magnitude. I'd always hope there are no issues, but hey, that's what we have to deal with.
Still, as kickoff approaches, attention is beginning to shift back to what brought millions together in the first place: football. And if history is any guide, by the time the final whistle blows, the fans won't be talking about visas, logistics, or politics. They'll remember the goals, the stars, the heartbreak, the countries making their first World Cup appearances, the notable absences, Turkey's return after 24 years, and the champions who lift football's most coveted prize.